Hey everyone, welcome back to another video here. And in today's video, I want to talk about a problem with a Nireeka e-bike, sort of a problem that a few people in the Nireeka e-bike community are experiencing, and I've experienced it personally on my bikes. And so I think I fixed the issue or solved the problem. So on this video here, I'm going to do one of my typical one shot, no edit. It is what it is. I got, so if I stumble, stutter, use improper grammar, it is what it is. So let's get into the video. So my wife and I, we purchased Nireeka e-bikes several months ago. I think I ordered them. Oh man, I think it was back in April or May of last year. And the original expected delivery date was supposed to be somewhere around, I want to say August was the expected delivery date. And then the expected delivery date started changing to December, December, and then January of 23. And lo and behold, with some different issues between what shipping looked like as far as what the website was telling me, I didn't know what or when or where those bikes were. I didn't know where they were at, and I didn't know when they were going to be shipped. And then all of a sudden, I think it was in December, I got a FedEx delivery, and granted, the dashboard was showing me that there was a UPS delivery tag associated with both bikes. And then all of a sudden, FedEx shows up at my door, and there's one of the bikes in mid-December. So I contacted Nireeka about it, and they said, yeah, that there was a mistake on how those things were tagged, and so they never really issued me a tracking for the next bike. So a couple of weeks later, the second bike arrived. Now, granted, they got here, okay? So that's one thing about Nireeka. I would just expect some delays with shipping, and that's just going to be kind of a known thing, okay? So I got no qualms about that, okay? It was kind of being left in the dark was a bit of an issue for me, but hey, it got here. And then also, you may have seen some of my other videos where I assembled them. The assembly went well. There was no problems with the bike, nothing broken or anything like that, as some other customers had experienced. So luckily, no issues with that. I did have one issue on my bike, and I'll talk about that here in a sec. But I do want to just quickly look at the Nireeka website and the bikes, because their website has progressed and changed a lot over time, and even added a new bike to their lineup. But I do want to look at that Nireeka Prime A4 again, because I noticed that they changed in the website how they market it. So this is the Nireeka website, and when you go click here on e-bikes, you'll see here this is a new model that they are selling here, the Revenant, which I've never been a full suspension type rider. I've never really dug the whole full suspension thing. I've always been sort of a hardtail with front suspension, even on my other mountain bike that I own. But if you look here in the Prime, they now have the Prime S 750, and then the Prime S 1500, and then you have the Nireeka Prime A4, which is what I originally ordered. They didn't have these other models here. They didn't even have this other Nireeka Prime 1500. Okay, so I haven't really looked into what's the difference between the Prime S and the Prime, but let's just look at the Prime for now. Now, I'm just going to say this: if you are the everyday average consumer rider, don't have years of experience of riding bikes like I do, even racing bikes, I'm just going to say just get a 750 watt. You're going to be very pleased with it, okay? The 1500 watt is a lot of power on a bicycle. Now, granted, they've built it very sturdy and everything, but if things aren't adjusted right, things aren't working right, there's a lot of potential to tear some stuff up with 1500 watts of power. If you could just imagine the power and the torque going through that drivetrain. So this is the Prime. This is the Prime A4. The 1500 watt or I'm sorry, the 750 watt motor. But I was just kind of going through looking at the Prime 1500 if I was to go back and do it again. Now, when I ordered mine, everything on mine top of the line. I wanted the best components. Okay. Like I said, I do have a lot of experience being around bicycles for a long time, working in bike shops, owning my own bike repair business. Been a mechanic for many years on, the truck and diesel mechanic side for over 30 plus years, and on the technical instructor side for almost 25 years. So I am very mechanically inclined. So it just made sense to me when I got the bike top of the line components. Okay, because I do that on my other bikes, my racing bikes. I generally run top tier components on everything. Okay, so if I was going to do it again, there's a few things I might change. So I would definitely go with 1500 watt again. I'd probably still stick with the black. Although, I ordered my wife the Pearl White, and it's a beautiful bike. That Pearl White is gorgeous. So 1500 watt for sure. 840 watt hour battery over the 480 for sure. If you're considering, I'm an extended or like to ride for long periods of times. When I'm out on my e-bike, it's for 2 and upwards of 4 hours at a time. Now that's also meaning that I'm riding an assist level 1 or low, very low assist levels so that I can get extended periods of time. So I'm actually putting a lot of pedal power into the bike while the bike is giving me some power. So definitely the bigger battery. Normal charger, fast charger doesn't matter to me because when you're done with your ride, plug it in, it's charged the next day, right? I definitely went upgraded on the display, the color display, and the forks. This is that area where when I was ordering, it was kind of gray for me, okay? I was thinking like, hey, fat tire, 26.4, you got natural cushion and everything, suspension built into a 26x4 tire as it is. But I thought, man, I really would like to just have that extra little bit of cushion on the front suspension. So I got the suspension fork. Now that I've got it, my suspension is on lockout almost all the time. I hardly ever touch the suspension on it. So I kind of wish I stuck with the original carbon fork because it's part of that look of the Nireeka bike. Let me go back to it. I mean, that fork just looks awesome, and I kind of wish I stuck with it. So that's potentially a change that I would have made. I'm not going to say I've never used the suspension on my bike, but I've definitely used it. I would probably consider downgrading and going to Dior versus Dior XT. In quality wise, they're very similar in quality. Just XT's lighter, and the only difference is one gear. I think that's why I made that choice, because I wanted that one extra gear. But then now that I got it, I'm thinking it's a damn e-bike. What does it matter having that one extra gear? So you could probably save $100 and downgrade to the Dior, and you're down to 10 speed. Okay. Dior's still high quality and top in the tier. I still run alloy in all the cockpits of my bikes, even though I have carbon fiber frame racing bikes. Handlebars, stems, alloy. Seat posts, alloy. Okay, I try to stay away from carbon fiber wherever possible in my cockpits. Okay, brakes, I would probably go ahead run the Dior. I can't say that I'm really noticing a big difference between the XT 4-piston versus Dior. So that would also mean sticking with Dior on the rotor. Seat posts, again, alloy. I'm not going to touch carbon fiber. I'm not going to say anything bad about it. It's just not my style. Okay, I prefer knowing that the strength of alloy is there versus, hey, one little blemish in the carbon fiber and your stuff's going to crack on you. Okay, saddle doesn't matter to me because you tend to use a different saddle, the same saddle that I use across all my bikes. I put on this bike. Tires, I'm okay with the Kenda Gigas. Throttle, for sure. Put the throttle on the bike because there are those times where it is nice to not pedal and just use the throttle. Okay. Adjustable stem. I would probably definitely go with the adjustable stem just so you have a little bit more play as far as tilting and everything like that. Ultimately, I end up changing the stem out on my bike because it was just too short. And so I have tons and tons of spare stems, different lengths. So I was able to extend mine out a little further and then get it a little bit higher just to give me a little bit, I felt, for me, the cockpit just felt a little bit too shallow, too short. So I just needed to stretch out just a little bit more. The pump, hey, I already have a lot of other suspension bikes around the house, so I had plenty of pumps. But if you do get the fork, you definitely are going to need a pump. Okay. So, anyways, that's just kind of like what I would do different if I was going to order again. Now, let's talk about the issue here. Okay. The issue is the skipping in the gears. Okay. Now, let's be a little bit specific about that. Let me close this down here. Okay. Now, I said that when I got my bike and I was assembling, I had one problem. Okay. So if you look at this picture here on the left, which is this one right here, which I actually used in another video talking about the assembly problem. Okay. When I got my bike all together, it would not shift. And it took me a few minutes to kind of think about what the heck is going on. It would not come all the way down. It was kind of stuck in the upper 6 gears and wouldn't come down to the bottom 3 to 4 gears. Finally, it connected to like, okay, it's not shifting down because the upper part of the derailleur wheel here was hitting the frame. So that didn't make sense. I was like wondering what the heck's going on. And then I reached with my finger on this little link right here. This, by the way, this link here is nothing more than a derailleur hanger extension. That's all it is. It's an extension. So it's not part of the frame. It's not part of the derailleur. It's just an additional piece, this black link right here. Okay. This bolt right here was loose, and so that link had bumped all the way forward. In fact, you could just I could grab it with my fingers and move it back and forth. That's how loose it was. So what I did is I went ahead and I pulled it straight. Now let me show you. I got to bring this other picture up here because, hang on, I got so many darn pictures up here. I've already lost it. Hang on a sec. Let me get this other picture up. Where is it at? Here it is. Okay, so this is a picture of my wife's bike, how it is today, okay? So me being me, I didn't really know where that should go, so I just pulled it almost straight, okay? Kind of like you see how this one is right here. It's almost straight up and down, and that's where I tightened it down, okay? And then when my wife's got here, her bike was already like this too. This right here, I did not change this, okay? This is how hers is set today. In fact, I just went now and took this picture in the garage because I wanted to get a picture of it because my wife has the same gear skipping issue that I have and a few other people have complained about, okay? All right, so after thinking about this gear skipping issue and another guy on YouTube, his name is Matt. I'm just going to call him Diamond Matt because he's in the diamond business. And he's one of those customers that he likes the Nireeka brand. He likes the bike, but he's just got these different nuances that are irritating. And I understand that, okay? I was frustrated with a couple things about purchasing this bike, but overall, it is a great bike, okay? So anyways, back to the story here. I pulled my derailleur hanger straight just like this one right here, okay? And so I get skip. So whenever I drop into that 11-tooth cog, and that's what it is. I think it's 1134. I can't remember what it is, what the gear combination is. But whenever you drop in that 11-tooth gear and you get the assist level up pretty high and you're cranking on the gear, the gear skips. What it reminds me of is back in the racing days when you would go a whole season and you would wear out a chain in a cassette And if you replace the chain only, you would get gear skipping. And it's because you got to replace those. You got to replace the rear cassette and the chain in combination. Otherwise, it's just going to skip on you. It sounds just like that. Well, these are brand new parts. They shouldn't be skipping like that. Okay. So I got to looking at it a little bit closer. I went in the garage one day and just looking at it, I was like, you know what? That chain is just not getting enough wrap around the gears here. Okay. So if you look at like right now, the picture on the left, even though that this is completely wrong here, right? This is loose and it's hitting the bottom. You look at how much chain wrap is going around this gear versus this one right here. And it's in about the same gear. Okay. It's probably not precise, but look at the gear wrap on this one versus this one here. Okay. So I went ahead and made another video the other day thinking, okay, I'm going to play around with this here. And so I went ahead and made an adjustment here. Let me find this other picture here. It's this one right here. Okay. So if you look at now at the angle of this one here, let me pull up my wife's other picture here. Let's just move this one over. So what I did is you can see this is pitched forward slightly. Now it could actually go just a little bit more. I don't want to go too much. Okay. But just moving it forward allowed, and you can see in this picture on the right, it's on the bottom gear. The picture on the left, it is not in the bottom gear. Okay. You can see it's getting a little bit more wrap around that 11-tooth gear. Okay. So now I went out and tested this on a ride. I put it in assist level 4, and I was mashing on the gear very hard like I did previously, and I got no skipping whatsoever. In fact, I got a video of that. I'll put the link to that video in there. And I do want to show you what the skipping looks like, what it sounds like here, because I do have a video. Let's see here. Let me come back to this here. So this is a video that I made. I was out riding with a local racing team, and I just happened to be on my e-bike, and I brought my photo gear and my GoPro, and I was just riding along, just capturing video clips of this team. And there was one point where I stopped because I needed to fix some. I needed to fix something on my live stream that I was doing at the same time as well. So in the process of trying to catch up to them, I went to the highest assist level I had. I went to Sport 5 or something like that, and I'm cranking on the gear really hard. So I want you to listen on this video here, and you're going to hear, hang on, let me make sure my desktop audio is on before I start playing the video. And you're going to hear 3 times where I get this gear skip, okay? Right there. Now, granted, I'm going pretty fast here trying to catch this group. Right there. And I'm trying to like ease off. I know I'm catching up to him. And it does it one more time. I think it already happened. I talked over it probably. So there's that gear skip. And then I made another video of actually going out, trying to testing the problem here. And I'll put the link to that video in there. So anyways, the point I'm trying to just get to overall is I think the biggest issue with that skip is this extension has to be in the right place to allow a little bit more wrap so that the chain won't skip on those gears, okay? Now, let's get to this Matt's problem here, okay? Because I'm not making this video all about me here. Matt, who also owns one, and give him kudos for giving me kudos. One thing I appreciate about his video where he's upset and, he's got some frustration points, obviously, with Nireeka in the bike, but you can tell he still loves the bike. Same with me, okay? I love the bike, and I wish I could actually just drive up to where he is and help him out because I see a problem on his bike, okay? So let me show you that. So yeah, okay, so here's Matt's video here, okay? I'm not going to go ahead and play it or anything, but I actually had to stop right here on this section of his video because I wanted to zoom in and look at this here very closely. Okay, so I actually got another picture here of his because what I did is I put his video in full screen and looked at it very close. Okay, so let me move this picture over here. So this is Matt's bike from his video. And then let me pull up, let me just pull up my wife's for now. Let's not even worry about like what's right or wrong right now, okay? Now, granted, we're looking at two different derailleurs here, okay? Mine and my wife's bikes are Dior XT, okay? So this is Dior XT. His is Shimano Alivio, okay? Now, what I want you to notice is you look at his pivot, okay? His derailleur, this second pivot right here, is mounted directly to the hanger. There is no extension in between, okay? I'm not going to say whether that's right or wrong, Matt. So, Matt, if you could get this video, I don't know whether that's right or wrong right now. In my opinion right now, it's incorrect, okay? Now, if you think it's a different design in the derailleur, okay? So I went ahead and I wanted to go look at those two derailleurs side by side, okay? So here's the Alivio, okay? And here's the XT. Those pivot and mechanisms are very, very close to the same in design and dimensions, okay? So I am not going to sit here and say that's correct because it's that type of derailleur, okay? Again, without me getting my hands on it, touching it, looking at it, understanding where the stop point mechanism is. So if you're not aware of this, all these derailleurs tend to have like these built-in little steps that catch onto the hanger to allow it to keep it from either going forward or backwards, okay? So right now with yours, I can't tell whether what is right or wrong right now, but in my estimation, I think you got something wrong, okay? So one of two things needs to happen, in my opinion, with yours, okay? Either this bolt right here, this bolt forward here, needs to come loose, and that whole pivot needs to come forward and flip-flop on the other side of that hanger that's coming off the frame, which would be this piece right here, okay? Now, it's possible that is not possible, okay? Because, again, without physically looking at the design of that derailleur, because I'm not familiar with that one, I don't know where the catch is on the derailleur to determine whether it's right or wrong. But what I believe is wrong is you need this extension right here, this derailleur hanger extender, okay, which I said is not part. This little black piece right here is not part of the derailleur, and it's not part of the hanger. It's an extension, okay? So my belief is that if you had this extension on and you can mount the derailleur to where it could come forward like this, or better yet, where's the other picture?
Small gear on the cog back here.
Oops, didn't mean to play that. This one here, we'll just go with this picture here, okay? Because it's this one here, in my opinion, is not far forward enough. It's actually really this one, which you can see side by side is pretty close, but I can tell it's pitched forward just a little bit more, okay? So let's get back to Matt's here. Where's Matt's? All right, I'm starting to lose stuff here. Did I close it down? I guess I did. Okay, here it is. All right, so back to this here. In my opinion, if you could get this extension like this and get the pitch forward, you will get a little bit more wrap around that 11 tooth, that bottom cog. I don't want to assume that yours is 11, but let's just say it's 11 or 12, okay? If you can get this extender on there, that'll allow that derailleur to come forward a little bit more and get that wrap that you need to keep it from skipping, okay? Now, as I've said, I've already tested this. I already made a video while I was out and demonstrated that this is actually working right now. So Anyways, in my opinion, I think I've solved the gear skipping issue. So if anybody else is having this here, it's all comes down to the position of this extender right here and how the derailleur is. Okay, so if you get it too far back, you just got to imagine that the chain is not wrapping around the gear enough. Okay, so allowing it to come forward a bit allows a little bit more wrap around the cogs, so less likely that the torque is going to allow it to skip across those teeth. Okay, so the more wrap you get on there, the better it's going to be able to latch on. Is how the best way I can describe it. Okay. Now the other thing is you don't want to come too far forward either, because if you come too far forward, it'll bump the frame, or potentially it will not allow the derailleur to shift well into those bigger gears going up towards the wheel. Okay. So anyways, that's the video. Again, I know, let me switch back my camera. That's the video. I know it's a bit clumsy. I'm not going to edit this video. It is going to be what it is. But that, I believe, is the fix for the Nireeka gear skipping issue. If you do have it, you just need to make sure that you have that derailleur extender and get that as far forward as you can. Like almost, I wouldn't call it almost a 45. It's probably more of a, what do you want to call that? Well, it would be 90 coming around this way. So it's really almost like 180 would be straight up and down, right? So what do we want to call that? About, I'm going blank here, about 120, 140, 140 maybe. So anyways, I think you get the point. It just needs to be at enough of an angle so you can get a good wrap. So anyways, that's the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for joining. We'll see you on the next one.